Hello, good morning and a happy holiday to you. Welcome to Business. As the African Union marks its 54th year anniversary today, Ghana is seeking to increase trade with South Africa, Africa's second biggest economy. Statistics indicate trade from Ghana to South Africa has dropped significantly over the last 3 years and currently pegged at $7.4 million. A Ghanaian delegation is currently in South Africa on a trade mission organized by the Ghana-South Africa Business Chamber to explore business opportunities. Chief Executive of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, Yofi Grant, is there as the head of the delegation. He tells Joy Business there is the need to re-examine the approach to doing business with South Africa in order to close the trade gap.
You know, it's a well-developed industrial country, and their GDP is, they are the second largest economy in Africa. And so they are a productive economy as against us, which has been a factor-driven economy for a while. We are now moving towards production and value added. But if you look at from 2011 to 2013, the South African business with Ghana increased by 56%. Investment into Ghana was, as of last year, was about $4.7 billion US. Whereas when we look at what Ghanaian businesses are doing here, it's about $150 million. But if you look at the trade from Ghana to South Africa, it's just about $7.4 million. Now, 3-4 years ago, it was a lot more. It was in the $1 billion range. So we need to go back and understand what happened. That suddenly there was a significant drop. Some believe that when the GIPC suddenly increased or put in place capital limits, we saw a sudden disappearance in that. But we do have significant South African businesses in Ghana. There's on the retail side, there's ShopRite, there's Game. On the construction side, there's Atterbury, there's WBHO. The mining side, we've seen South Africans in mining from a very long time ago. So yes, they do actively look at our market, but now we are repositioning Ghana as the beachhead and entry point to West Africa, the West African trade zone, or ECOWAS. And I think for some businesses that I've spoken to who have found it pretty difficult to enter the Nigerian market, they believe that entering the Ghana market for West Africa is a more practical thing to do. So they are looking to come into Ghana and then form partnerships with our businesses so they can, for want of a better word, exploit the West African market. At the end of the day, we need to increase intra-Africa trade.
And back here in Ghana, Unilever Ghana says it is confident Ghana's improved power situation will help boost the company's performance this year. The company suffered a huge loss during the power inconsistency last 3 years. In an interaction with journalists after the company's annual general meeting in Accra, board chairman of Unilever, Edward Ifa, expressed confidence the current situation has improved and will translate into a much better performance this year. There's more in this report.
Unilever Ghana, in its 2016 financial statement to shareholders, recorded a turnover of 496.31 million Ghana cedi as against 518.73 million Ghana cedi same period last year, representing a 4.3% turnover decline. This decline was attributed to the negative effects of the power crisis and other harsh economic conditions faced by industries in 2016. Answering questions on alternative sources of power, Board Chairman of Unilever, Edward Ifa, said the company had been in discussion with government and optimistic of a stable situation this year.
To make alternative arrangements in terms of backup power, which is very expensive, which is a generator, because you can't stop production. And Unilever has those in place in case we return to those days. However, from speaking with the government, we should not go back to those days because Ghana's generating capacity has been significantly improved. Tallow and ENI has just begun oil production, and they'll soon get into gas. So I think the future outlook is promising in terms of electricity production and also pricing. I think the generating capacity has significantly increased, and that is a fact. In terms of power plant, there's AXA, some 300 megawatts, and there's a car power ship plant, and there are various other plants. So the situation Ghana found itself in 2010, 2011, when we were rationing power on a daily basis, we are not there anymore. So I'm sure this year we've seen very little power rationing or power cuts. There's still a lot of work to be done, including maybe the commercialization of ECG, some improvement in efficiency, and all the rest of it. But we don't anticipate, as we speak, that we'll go back to those days when you had power maybe 2 days a week, and you were running a genset for the rest of the time. Even if we do, we have the facilities in place to be able to continue production. It may mean higher costs because it's very expensive producing your own power, but it won't result in a shutdown.
On his part, Managing Director of Unilever, Yo Ziobeton, noted that the company had been working on other sources of power rather than over-reliance on the national grid.
We have generators. Our wish is that, we don't have to rely on them. I think it's part of crisis management or business continuity measures that we've taken. Instead of going into the specific of green energy, I think it's always important to remind ourselves what kind of company we are running. A company that says day in, day out, I want to make a difference in the life of the people. You can't do that without, of course, taking steps to have green energy or renewable energy.
Despite the decline in turnover, the board of directors, however, approved a dividend of 0.05 Ghana cedi per share to various shareholders.
And that's all in business for now. Many thanks for watching.